Hey, this is Elektron, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a powerful drop. Let's play it through and I'll get to dissecting it and showing you how to make it. Cool. So that's the drop to my song Hearts on Fire, my newest song Hearts on Fire, if you've heard it. I'll leave a link in the description to it if you haven't heard it. But let's go through and decide what made this powerful and how you can make your drops more powerful. So I stuck to a rule here. There's a couple things, so I'll list them off. One is simplicity. I wanted one bass line and one lead and nothing in between, so that lead can really take the spotlight and that bass line could take the spotlight. So when we start off, all you're hearing is a lead and a bass line and a kick, and it's just those three things, and there's no like chords in between the bass line and the kick. So it leaves a lot of room in between the lead and the bass line to just, you know, be like all that more powerful. So let's single out this lead and I'll show you how I made it. So there was a little bit of a call and response here. Some of you guys called it out in the comments when I uploaded this song that it was a little too much, but I mean, I thought it sounded good, so I just was like, fuck it, I'll just put it out anyway. But you guys definitely called out that call and response, which is okay because feedback is always awesome. But let's dissect these leads and decide what made these leads push forward. This lead I actually got from Splice. I was looking for something that reminded me of Mike Williams. However, it did not sound like this when I got it. It had some bullshit going on down here that I had to get rid of because it would do this like up pitching thing, and it just sounded weird and awkward. So I really had to edit this down, but it sounds kind of like a basic saw. But this is the lead. If you want to search it on Splice, Ricky and Pyros 4, you're going to have to edit it down a little bit. But to make this lead kind of push and carry momentum, you can see I have a little bit of, you know, automation going on to kind of just add movement to the lead. So what happens is I had my call here, and you can see right here where I cut the volume, notice how everything goes away, like all the reverb goes away. And that just adds some kind of movement to the lead instead of being like static all the way through. However, here's what happens. I have this really super airy lead come in right under the response. So watch this. We're going to go call, and then we're going to cut the volume and then go response. And right there adds a lot of power. So there's, you know, right here might not sound that powerful, but as soon as the response comes in, it's like, okay, no joking around. That's how we're going to push forward. And so anytime you can make some kind of, I guess, like powerful trick there, like have a powerful response, have your volume cuts to the lead, it's going to cause that lead to really beef up. And then of course there's one more layer on these leads, sounds like this kind of in the background. And you can see, since this volume here is cut on the summing track, all the leads go away there, not just one lead. So watch this. So when the volume goes away, it comes right back in, but with an extra layer of leads here, and it creates just a nice power there. These leads here are self-made? No, are they not self-made? Wow, I went all preset on this one, which I guess is pretty cool. These are really basic leads. They're really simple to make if you were going to make them in Serum. I mean, if you listen to that, that's nothing but a, you know, super saw. And then let's see what we have here. Oh, I forgot that. I added that to the response. So now the whole response sounds like this. And this super saw I made with Serum. And let's see what saw wave I used for that. Yeah, I used the basic saw wave. I didn't use the default saw wave. That's a little sharper than this one. So that is how I made those leads. And then the second half of the drop, I kind of just let them all play out. And there's not really any more call and response. So I guess, yeah, that maybe there is a little slight response there. But all that just adds power. I kept up with the volume automation straight through. Looks like I cut the volume here as well. Because what I did there was I added in these vocal chops. Actually, they're not the vocal chops. They are the reverb to the vocal chops that I automated in manually. Because watch this. That was kind of like a little crazy there. It was like a crazy sound. I tried to make it sound like the reverb was ducking super hard. Instead of using a plugin to do it, I did it manually, as you can see here. And I got that sound. So when I chopped out the leads temporarily, those vocal chops come in, and then the vocal chops go away, and then the leads come back in. So watch this. So they kind of swap out. Instead of layering those vocal chops on top of the lead, which would actually cause the sound to get smaller because there's too many layers, I decided to just cut the lead out and have one thing going the whole time. So I wanted one lead instead of just layering the lead with a bunch of different sounds like vocal chops the whole time. So if you really focus in on your leads and make plays on the leads, like don't just, I could have kept this lead in the whole time and not done anything. But that would have sounded super boring. So I added in all this stuff here to kind of juice it up and add life to it. So that's like, I would highly recommend doing that. It'll add power, it'll add movement and momentum, and that's really what you want. Let's move on to the bass and see what we got going on here. That cannot be the sub bass. There's got to be another layer of bass here. Are you serious? This is all the bass I have? That's not sub bass. That's not sub bass. And that's not sub bass either. So there's another layer of sub bass here. There we go. Here's the sub bass. Wonder why I have that coupled with the white noise. That's kind of like a weird thing to have grouped up with the white noise. But how to make a powerful bass line? You need that powerful bass line to get, you know, that powerful drop. Because what is a drop without bass? Well, when you're adding bass to a drop, you're focused on two things. Let's go ahead and open up an EQ so I can better explain this. You want to really ring out this sub range down here. This is going to be your sub frequencies. You want to really add a bass that's going to take care of that. I like to split the layers up, so I'm going to go ahead and add pure sub bass down here, and then we'll handle the kind of this area with you know, some bass pluck or something that you can hear without the subwoofer. So this bass pluck layering sounds like this. and then you throw in the sub bass. It's kind of like an awkward layering, like you can clearly hear that the bass, sub bass is a different layer than the plucks, but with all the noises going on at once, you can't really tell that they are separate layers, which is, you know, what you want to go for. You want your bass to be uniform. But here are the layers to this bass. Sorry, I always press that by accident. So here's what I did. I added this that kind of follows the same rhythm, or a similar rhythm as the lead. But it wasn't dirty enough for me. I needed a dirtier layer, and I'll show you what that means. I have these detuned about this like halfway, not the halfway, the quarter point to my pluck, and then watch the next layer. This detune knob is going to be sticking straight up, and that'll just create a little bit more dirt. Yeah, this one's totally got to be. Oh no, it isn't. I thought it was. But what made this one sound different is the grittier saw wave, for one, and two, we have more voices of unison here, and it's a lower octave than that other bass pluck. So this sounds like this, layered with the cleaner pluck, and you get like that nice layering of sounds. And then we're going to go down to here. The only point of this sound is just the transient, so like the punch at the attack of the bass. So if we layer this up, now without it, sounds like this. Isn't that kind of boring? Could you agree that's boring? So what I'm trying to get to here is, on every single dominant sound, try to get at least one punchy transient on at least one of them. So I have two dominant sounds, a lead and then a bass, and then one of these sounds is going to need that punchy transient. So I went ahead and threw that onto the bass line. And then of course with the sub bass, and you're gonna get that. These basses here are all low cut, so there's a lot of room for the sub bass to come in and do its thing. Okay, so we went over the leads, which coupled with the basses sound like this. And right there is a nice powerful sequence. All you virtually need from then on is a kick, and there you got a drop. But of course I went ahead and added a couple other things to just, you know, keep some life in the background. So what I did, let's get on to the drums now. I use this mouse kick from Splice that everybody has. If you search kick on Splice, you're probably going to see this at some point or another, the mouse kick 17 in F minor. Yeah, literally search kick, or better yet, search mouse kick, and you will find this kick on Splice. Sounds like this. An incredible sounding kick. That, to me, there's no stronger kick than that one. It's such a strong kick, so nice sounding. But what I did is I made plays on the drums as well. As you can see, there's no drums here, and then no drums in this space. So let's see what's going on. So the inconsistencies in the reverb are happening because I was automating the reverb bus, which is actually really hard to find. It's got to be here somewhere. It's somewhere here. Here it is, the reverb bus. I actually called it reverb. So this bus is just reverb, and you can see I added some side chaining to the reverb. So if I were to solo out this reverb, I wonder if it would actually play. No. Let's go ahead and solo out this reverb bus so you can hear literally only the reverb that's coming out. And you can see here I was volume automating the reverb as well to kind of follow the rhythm of the stopping and starting of the lead momentum, and the stopping and starting of the bass momentum, and the stopping and starting of the drum momentum. So it's kind of what I think house music is right now is kind of like a science, because when anybody can make a house song, but to create some sort of play on the ears and to create a really satisfying momentum, it's constant adding and dropping of sounds, make plays on the reverb. Obviously, these are my plays. I'm cutting and adding it back in, very frequently. And when you do things like that, it just creates like a fun environment to listen to the drop. So we went over the bass, we went over the leads, we went over the kick, we went over the drums. Now let's concentrate on the sounds that you're not paying attention to, but are there to, again, create some environment that is just fun to listen to. We have a drone here. I showed how to make this drone in a video. Sounds like that. And then we have this sound. Let's see if you can hear both of these sounds. If you can hear both of these sounds, and if you knew they were there before me even showing you that they were there, let me know in the comments. I want to know if your ears were able to pick these up. Let me know if you were able to hear those. They're just extra things that make the atmosphere there, and make the atmosphere like not silent and boring. You want everything to be like awesome. Oh yeah, and obviously, what is a drop without an awesome transition into it? Whoops. That was a reverb automation. You're gonna get that sound right there, and this is just a clock that happened to be on time, I think. I don't think I edited the time. I did. I actually had to make it 128 BPMs because I got it at 125 beats per minute. And then this timbale. Which, who would have thought using a sound like that in a house song would work, but I think it works quite excellently. So let's go ahead to these. What's a drop without a nice white noise sweep and crash right on the attack of it? Let's see if you can hear the crash and the white noise sweep right on the attack of the drop. So it's just a quick brush, not that loud at all. And you definitely don't want the white noise to be overriding anything. But I mean, you have to put it there because it creates that nice atmosphere. It makes that silent atmosphere not silent anymore. And I think that's what, can create such a good atmosphere, is to make the atmosphere there rather than not there, So I would highly recommend focusing on your atmosphere, in the sense that you shouldn't make it, or you shouldn't leave it quiet. Make your atmosphere there. Make it present. It's not that hard to make it present either. Just add some quiet sounds that nobody's paying attention to, and it'll be that much more fulfilling to listen to. Here's those cashmere drop claps that everybody has, because they're always at the top of Splice. And then you'll create some sort of some sort of loud stuff going on in the drop as well, and that's what those claps are going to do. So some takeaways from this video would be, keep it simple. Run a bass line. If you want chords in there, have the chords be quiet and spread. In this case, I didn't use chords, so I had a bass line, a powerful lead, and my goal was to make them work together, and everything else in the drop worked with the lead and the bass line. If you can't get that rhythm down or that fundamental down, you're going to have a tough time making a drop that's fun to listen to. So have that powerful lead coupled with the bass, have them work together, throw in the kick, mix everything with the kick, throw in the drums, have everything to do with the lead when you throw in the drums. You don't want the drums to compete with the lead by doing a different rhythm. And then of course concentrate on your sounds that nobody hears. So the drones in the background, the white noises and stuff like that, that nobody's paying attention to. And that's only going to help out your atmosphere. And then of course mix everything together and you got a pretty nice drop there. So there you go, guys. If you're able to take any value from this video, go ahead and leave me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate that as well. My name's Alex Rome, and stay tuned for some more awesome stuff.